Tyson Fury loses his opportunity to be the unified, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And that title would have fit him so good if he would have simply utilized boxing off of his back foot and the 8 tiers of utilizing your back feet, which is what we talk about all the time. I'm going to get into exactly the masterclass that Alexander Usyk put on in this fight. And there was a moment in the fight where it could have been stopped. But knowing what Tyson Fury has overcome before, you know what I'm saying? You got to give a man that's fighting for that title, you got to give him an opportunity. And I know a lot of people do think about why would they have not stopped that fight. If it was anybody else in the world, they would have stopped this fight. But you got to remember the heavyweight division is the division that defines all combat sports. And you got to let those men go out on their shields because that is the division in the sport of boxing that represents it. But I'm going to give you several things that was the difference in that fight taking place. The corners, when you match the corners up, and just the other components that make up how to win a fight. And this is what you call the strap. But there's one heavyweight titleist right now, and his name is Alexander Usyk. Now, when you get into that fight, I'm going to break down a couple of the rounds and what the difference was in that fight. And when you see the fight start off, Usyk came right out and pressed against the ropes consistently with his pressure, the exact same way that he fought Anthony Joshua. He came and he said, I'm big enough and I want the smoke. So he came out, and this is what any of you trainers, when you're working with your fighters, now I can tell you the recipe, but the difference is I can tell you what to do, but it's not easy knowing exactly how much of it did you do that's actually going to transpire inside of the boxing ring. And the next thing I'll let you know is once you do understand what to do your fighter have the fortitude to deliver on that. So when Usyk came out, he also understood exactly what punch to throw as you're a southpaw and where to place your feet. He came out, he led to the body with the straight left hand, and then he brought his shot up top. That's what's always going to work. He did that for the first 2 rounds, and it looked like it was going to be a very Oh my God. Sorry, guys. Just the power went out, and I'm sorry, but the fight was absolutely, as we get into this round, and I will restream this so you guys can get it in its entirety. The left hand was touching Tyson to the body, straight left. What happened is Tyson Fury figured out how to get on his back foot. And I want you to understand there are 8 phases to back foot work. Okay. So one of the phases that does not belong in this category is just how to punch off of your back foot, how to defend off of your back foot. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the setup with the back foot. So, as some of you have known us for giving you that what we call the skills training guide. You've heard me talk about it, 52 weeks. Okay, so there's a compartment in there that has all 8 phases and drills that you got to do. And the reason why we talk about this is not because we need to know, it's because we want you to understand at this level, you're going to need to have all of these different components to add to your boxing skills. So if you're a boxing coach and you're in that position that you need to make an adjustment in the fight. See, what goes on is fighters are in a position to win the fight, but the coach doesn't understand exactly how to really instruct the guy. And when Tyson Fury came out in the 3rd and 4th and the 5th round, I think he nearly won 4 rounds in a row. When he came out, what happened is he got the opportunity to deliver those punches because he got on his back foot. Huh? The mic? He got an opportunity to deliver those punches. But what you saw is he got freedom. And when he got that freedom, he was able to just pop, set the shots up, throwing the right uppercut. These are the punches that you can throw against a southpaw. Right uppercut, right hook, and making sure that you throw that left hook straight right. But you have to make sure you got your left foot on the outside of their right foot. And that gives you the angle, and it takes the opportunity for them to counter punch you. Young coaches and fighters and those guys who are aspiring, who just like boxing and you get off on the entertainment side of it. These are the little tips that I'll say that came into play. But what happened is Alexander Usyk got wise, and he started to throw the left to the body of a right-handed fighter. And that set up the combination flow. And then he wobbled Fury. I mean, seriously, it could have been stopped. But the reality is you're fighting for, okay, this was the 3rd belt that I got the opportunity to coach. And that was as an advisor. And when I came out, and we understood what it felt like to go out. We got to go to the after party. There's nothing like it, but I'm not that party guy. But it was a beautiful night, and it's been in the case. But I took it out of the case just for you guys to get an opportunity to see what it looks like. That thing's heavy. But the reality is this. These guys went into that last phase of the fight, and he rocked them, and he put them in that place where he knew this is a trouble situation. Tyson Fury knew he was in deep. But one of the things that happened is, as I spoke earlier, is, see, that's what's missing. See, Emmanuel Stewart would not have allowed Tyson Fury not to leave that fight with the victory. And a lot of you who got the opportunity to see Emmanuel Stewart, coach, you know this, because no matter how far they were down or what was going on, all you had to do is say, watch this. You just understood the mastery when you have a professor inside of your corner. And the fact that you guys got to see Emmanuel work, that's a professor. You don't see professors working. You see coaches, you see trainers, you see people who are filling in for coaches, cornermen, but you don't get any opportunity to see the professor. So just think of listening to Cus D'Amato. And that's what most people don't understand. Now, Sugar Hill is great. He didn't make any mistakes. The difference is the quality slowly dips off a little bit, generation after generation, if everything's not put into place. It's nowhere near Sugar Hill. That wasn't the problem. It's just not enough is available. And no matter how good you become, It's going to be hard for you to be greater than the great-great-grandfather, the guy who started your family lineage, because he had more. He was built different. He had the pedigree to go through different layers of fortitude. And that's the difference. There's just a little bit of drop off because Emmanuel Stewart would not have lost the opportunity to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. You know why? Because he was the last coach to have that title, all four in the four belt era, right? So this is the most important thing about you young trainers and coaches and fighters that are in this game today. Understand the textbook of boxing. And when you do that, you'll realize you have something to refer to. You need the textbook so you'll understand what to refer to when it's time to switch and get all 8 phases of that back foot work. Understanding how to set your opponent up, because not only was Tyson Fury supposed to win that fight, he was supposed to win by knockout. Good night, sweet prince, because he was on the way to that. But that's what happens when you don't understand the adjustments that's relevant to make and how many different ways to make it so that guy never closes that distance. Now, it was a split decision, but the reality is this. When you have the opportunity to change your life forever, you do it. The studying that it's going to take for you to get to that point, you go through it. Whenever you have the opportunity to write your legacy, you don't miss it. And until they get to redo this again, the world champion of the heavyweight division is Alexander Usyk. That's all I got, people. Until next time, for those of you who have never watched our channel, boy, you're late to the dance. Continue to follow for more. If you like the insight of boxing at the highest level, 4 generations in the game, over 4 titles, 40 titles. I got the assist in some form or fashion. My thing is to educate you on the highest level of boxing and take what I got to get from my professors in boxing and pass it along to you. So thanks for taking the time to hang out with us. Alexander Usyk, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, people. Special shouts out to the Tyson Fury team. They did a magnificent job. And hopefully you guys continue to follow for more. And I'll see you soon in the winner's circle. Rewatch this later and take your notes, but don't let opportunities, when you have the opportunity to write your legacy, you do what's necessary. So long. Be blessed at Godspeed. Peace. The champ is here. The champ is here.